Stop whatever you are doing right now. I need you to listen to me very carefully for the next few minutes, because what I am about to share with you today has the power to completely change the direction of your life. I'm not exaggerating. I'm not hyping you up for nothing. You see, there is a book that was written almost 90 years ago. And this book has made more millionaires than almost any other book ever written in human history. Warren Buffett has read it. Oprah Winfrey has spoken about it. Countless successful people, from CEOs to athletes to ordinary men and women who came from nothing, they all have one thing in common. They read this book. The book is called Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. And today, my friend, I am going to break it all the way down for you in simple, everyday language that you can understand, apply, and use to start transforming your life, starting from today. This video is for you if you are tired of struggling financial and you want to understand how wealth is actually created. You feel like you have potential, but you don't know how to unlock it. You've tried many things, but nothing seems to be working. Or you just want to understand what separates people who succeed from people who just survive. If that is you, you are in the right place. Stay with me till the end. Don't skip. Every section of this video has something powerful for you. Now, Think and Grow Rich is not a novel with characters running around and falling in love. No. This is a book of principles, real, proven, tested principles for success and wealth creation. But there are key people whose stories Napoleon Hill uses throughout this book to teach us. So let me introduce you to the major figures you need to know. First, Napoleon Hill himself. Napoleon Hill was born in 1883 in a small, poor cabin in Virginia, USA. We are talking about a boy who came from poverty. His mother died when he was very young. Life was hard, but this man had a burning desire, and that desire would take him on a journey that would change the world. At the age of 25, Napoleon Hill was given the assignment of a lifetime by one of the richest men in America at the time. That man was Andrew Carnegie. Now listen, Andrew Carnegie was a Scottish-American businessman who became one of the wealthiest men in the history of the world through the steel industry. He was the Dangote of his era. The man was rich. And Carnegie had a theory. He believed that success leaves clues. He believed that if you studied enough successful people, you could identify the formula for success and teach it to ordinary people. So Carnegie gave Napoleon Hill a challenge. He said, "Young man, I want you to spend the next 20 years of your life interviewing the most successful people in America. Find out what they have in common and write it down so that ordinary people can access this knowledge." And he didn't pay Hill to do this, by the way. Carnegie simply believed in him and made the introduction. Hill had to fund this research himself. And there were times he nearly gave up, but he didn't. Over 20 years, Napoleon Hill interviewed over 500 of the most successful people in America, including Henry Ford, Thomas Edison, John the 500th, Rockefeller, Theodore Roosevelt, and many others. And from all of that research, he discovered the 13 principles of success and wealth creation. He published them in this book in 1937, and the rest, as they say, is history. And then there is Edwin Barnes. Edwin Barnes is one of the most powerful examples Hill uses in this book. Barnes was an ordinary man. He had no money, no connections, no experience. But he had one burning desire to become a business partner of Thomas Edison, the greatest inventor of that time. We will come back to Barnes in a moment because his story is one of the most powerful lessons in this entire book. Let me paint a picture for you. It's the early 1900s in America. The world is changing. Industries are booming. New technologies are emerging. And everywhere you look, some people are getting incredibly rich, while the vast majority of people are struggling, working hard every single day, and still ending up with nothing to show for it. Sound familiar? Because honestly, that sounds like what many of us are experiencing right now in Nigeria, Africa, in many parts of the world. You see people around you working 12, 14, 16 hours a day, hustling in the sun, grinding on the streets, and yet nothing changes. The money never seems to be enough. The breakthrough never seems to come. And the question that Napoleon Hill was obsessed with was this: why? Why do some people succeed massively, even people who started with nothing, while other people, sometimes more educated, more hardworking, more intelligent people, why do they struggle their entire lives? Is it luck? Is it connections? Is it where you were born? Hill refused to believe it was random, and after 20 years of research, he found the answer. And the answer was shocking. It wasn't about your education. It wasn't about your background. It wasn't even primarily about the economy or the government or the system. It was about something that every human being has access to, rich or poor, young or old, man or woman. It was about the mind. Specifically, it was about how you think. That is why the book is called Think and Grow Rich, not Work and Grow Rich, not Hustle and Grow Rich. Think and grow rich. Because Hill discovered that every great achievement, every fortune ever built, began first as a thought in someone's mind. Now, the turning point of this entire book, the moment that unlocks everything, happens right at the very beginning in the story of Edwin Barnes. Remember I told you about him? Let me tell you this story properly, because it will blow your mind. Edwin Barnes was a broke, ordinary young man. He had nothing going for him. No money, no special skills, no connections. But inside of him burned one single obsessive, consuming desire, and that desire was to become a business partner of Thomas Edison. Now think about this. In your mind right now, be sincere with yourself. If you were in Barnes' position, what would you do? You have no money, no connections, no experience in business or invention, and you want to partner with the most famous inventor in the world? Most people would say, that's impossible, that's wishful thinking, go and get a job. But Barnes didn't listen to logic. He didn't listen to fear. He didn't listen to the people around him who probably thought he was crazy. He made a decision, an absolute, burning, unwavering decision, that he would become Thomas Edison's business partner. Not maybe, not I'll try. He decided, full stop. He scraped together barely enough money to get on a freight train to New Jersey, where Edison's laboratory was. He showed up looking rough, broke, and unremarkable. And he walked in and told Edison he wanted to be his business partner. Now, Edison could have laughed him out of the room. But something about the look in Barnes' eyes, that hunger, made Edison pay attention. He gave Barnes a small job in the organization, not a partnership, just a little job. Sweeping floors, maybe, something basic. And here is where the lesson hits different. Most people, if they got rejected from their big dream and given a small job instead, would have quit. They would have said, forget this, let me go and find something else. But Barnes stayed. He worked that small job with the same intensity, the same focus, the same commitment, as if he was already the partner. He watched, he learned, he waited, and he kept his desire alive. Then one day the opportunity came. Edison had invented a new machine called the Ediphone, an early dictation device, and Edison's own salespeople didn't believe in it. They didn't think it would sell, but Barnes believed. Barnes went to Edison and told him, let me sell it. He marketed the Ediphone with such passion and effectiveness that Edison was stunned. And that day, Thomas Edison made Edwin Barnes his business partner, a broke man with no connections, no experience, no special background, but with an unbreakable desire and a made-up mind. That is the turning point of this book, and it introduces us to the 13 principles that Napoleon Hill wants every single one of us to learn and apply. Let's get into them. Lesson 1, desire, the starting point of all achievement. The first and most foundational principle in this book is desire, not a wish, not a hope, not "it would be nice." A burning, obsessive, consuming desire. Hill says every person who wins in any undertaking must be willing to burn their ships and cut all sources of retreat. You know that story of the general who sailed his troops to enemy territory and then burned his own ships? So his soldiers had no option but to fight and win because there was no going back. That is the kind of desire Hill is talking about. Let me ask you something. You that is watching this right now, what do you want? I mean, really want? Have you defined it? Have you written it down? Do you go to bed thinking about it and wake up in the morning with it already on your mind? Because a vague wish will never produce real results, but a specific burning desire, that is the seed of every great achievement. Hill tells you to do something very specific. Write down exactly how much money you want to earn. Write down exactly what you plan to give in return for it. Write down a deadline and then read that statement out loud morning and night until it becomes part of who you are. In Nigeria, we have a saying, the person who chases two rats catches none. Focus your desire, make it specific, make it burn. Lesson 2, faith. Visualize and believe in the attainment of your desire. The second principle is faith, and Hill is not just talking about religious faith here. He is talking about an unshakable belief in yourself and in the possibility of what you want to achieve. He says faith is a state of mind that can be developed through repetition, through affirmation, through acting as if what you desire is already real. You see, most of us don't go after big things because deep down we don't believe we deserve them or can achieve them. We look at where we are, maybe in a rented one-room apartment, maybe struggling to pay school fees, maybe broke, and we say, how can I even dream of millions? But Hill says the mind doesn't know the difference between something real and something vividly imagined. So if you keep feeding your mind with images of success, with affirmations of your worth, with the belief that you will get there, your brain will start working to make that reality come true. Apply this today. Start affirming your goals out loud. Look in the mirror and speak to yourself with faith. I am becoming wealthy. I am creating value. I am attracting opportunities. It might feel silly at first, but deal with it. Consistency is what builds the faith muscle. Lesson 3, autosuggestion, the medium for influencing the subconscious mind. This principle is powerful, and most people overlook it. Autosuggestion simply means what you repeatedly tell yourself becomes your reality. Your subconscious mind is like fertile soil. Whatever seed you plant in it, it will grow. If you keep saying, I'm broke, nothing works for me, I can never make it, your subconscious mind accepts that as truth and arranges your life accordingly. But if you feed your subconscious mind with positive, specific, goal-oriented statements over and over again, it begins to work for you. It starts noticing opportunities you previously walked past. It gives you ideas you never had before. It connects you with people who can help you. Think of it like this. You know how when you decide you want to buy a particular car, let's say a Toyota Camry, and suddenly everywhere you go, you start seeing Toyota Camrys. The cars were always there, but now your brain is tuned to notice them. That is what autosuggestion does for your goals. It tunes your brain to notice and attract what you need. Lesson 4, specialized knowledge, personal experiences and observations. Here is one lesson that will shock many people. Hill says general knowledge, no matter how great in quantity or variety, is of little use in the accumulation of money. In other words, having a university degree, knowing a little about everything, that alone will not make you rich. What makes you rich is specialized knowledge, deep expertise in a specific area that is valuable to others. Think about the richest people you know, the mechanic that everybody calls because he can fix any engine problem, the lawyer who specializes in one area and is the best at it, the woman in the market who knows fabric better than anyone else and people travel from far to buy from her. They are not successful because they know everything. They are successful because they know one thing extremely well, and that knowledge has value. Hill says acquire specialized knowledge in the field you want to succeed in. Invest in that knowledge, study it, practice it, become the go-to person for it. Ask yourself right now, what do I know better than most people? And if the answer is nothing yet, what can you start learning today? Lesson 5, imagination. The workshop of the Mind Hill describes 2 types of imagination. Synthetic imagination, where you combine existing ideas in new ways, and creative imagination, where brand new ideas come to you almost like divine downloads. Every invention you enjoy today, your phone, the internet, electricity, began as a picture in someone's imagination. And Hill is telling you, yes, you that is watching this, that you have been given the same gift, the ability to imagine something that doesn't exist yet, and then work to bring it into reality. He says, whatever the mind of man can conceive and believe, it can achieve. Don't underestimate the power of a dream. Your imagination is not a distraction, it is your greatest tool. Lesson 6, organized planning. The crystallization of desire into action. Desire and faith are not enough. You need a plan. Hill says that no one achieves great things alone. He introduces the idea of the mastermind group, a small group of people with specific skills and knowledge who come together with a shared purpose. Think of it like building a football team. The striker alone cannot win the match. You need defenders, midfielders, a goalkeeper. Each person brings something different. Together you are stoppable. In your life, who are your people? Who do you have around you that complements your weaknesses, challenges your thinking, and pushes you to grow? Hill says, if your first plan fails, which it often will, don't quit. Make another plan. And another. A person is not defeated by failure. A person is only defeated when they stop planning and stop trying. Lesson 7, decision. The mastery of procrastination. Hill studied 25,000 people who had experienced failure. And do you know what one trait they all had in common? The habit of making decisions slowly or not making them at all. And he studied successful people and found that they made decisions quickly and changed them slowly. Be sincere with yourself. How many times have you had an idea, a business idea, a life decision, a step you needed to take, and you kept saying, let me think about it, let me wait, let me see how things go. And then 3 months later, 5 years later, nothing has changed. You are still in the same spot. Indecision is one of the biggest killers of success. You don't need perfect information to make a decision. You need enough information and the courage to move. Lesson 8, persistence. The sustained effort necessary to induce faith. This is the one that separates the people who make it from the people who don't. Hill says persistence is to success what carbon is to steel. It is an essential ingredient. Without it, everything else falls apart. He tells the story of a man who gave up digging for gold just 3 feet from striking one of the richest gold deposits in American history. 3 feet. He quit, sold his equipment, went home. And the next person who bought that equipment struck gold almost immediately, 3 feet from gold, and he quit. How many of us have quit 3 feet from our breakthrough? The market that failed for 3 months but would have exploded in the 4th. The business that struggled for 6 months but would have turned around in the 7th. Persistence is not stubbornness, it is discipline, focus, relentless continuation toward your goal. Keep going, your breakthrough may be 3 feet away. Lesson 9, the power of the mastermind. We touched on this earlier, but let me go deeper. Hill says, no 2 minds ever come together without thereby creating a third, invisible, intangible force, which may be likened to a third mind. When you surround yourself with people who share your vision and complement your strengths, something supernatural happens. Opportunities appear, connections form. This is why successful people are always surrounded by teams. You cannot build an empire alone. Find your mastermind group, protect it, feed it, invest in those relationships. Lesson 10, the mystery of sex transmutation. Now stay with me because this sounds controversial, but it is actually deep. Hill says that sexual energy is one of the most powerful driving forces in a human being. It creates passion, creativity, and drive. But he says that the most successful people learn to transmute, meaning redirect that energy away from purely physical expression and into their work, their creative pursuits, their ambitions. In simple terms, channel your deepest passions and drives into your goals. Let that burning energy fuel your work ethic, your creativity, your determination. Lesson 11, the subconscious mind, the connecting link. Your subconscious mind works 24 hours a day, even when you are sleeping. And Hill says you can program it with the thoughts, goals, and desires you want it to act on. Every night before you sleep and every morning when you wake up, your subconscious is most open to suggestion. That is the time to feed it with your goals. Visualize, affirm, believe. Lesson 12, the brain, a broadcasting and receiving station for thought. This might sound like science fiction, but Hill believed, and modern neuroscience is beginning to support, that the brain works like a radio transmitter and receiver. When your mind operates at high frequencies through strong emotion, deep focus, and burning desire, it attracts ideas and insights from outside itself. This is what people call intuition. Divine inspiration, the eureka moment. When you are fully committed to your goal, your brain begins receiving solutions you never consciously thought of. Lesson 13, the sixth sense, the door to the temple of wisdom. The final principle is what Hill calls the sixth sense. He says this is the apex of his philosophy, a heightened state of intuition and creative consciousness that develops over time as you apply all the other principles consistently. You've heard stories of entrepreneurs who just knew which move to make, investors who felt something was right before the data confirmed it. This is the sixth sense developed through years of disciplined thought and action. Now let me talk about something important because Hill doesn't shy away from this in the book. Most people who start applying these principles fail at first, and here is why. Mistake number one, they give up too soon. Remember the man who quit 3 feet from gold? The number one mistake people make is abandoning their plan the moment things get hard. Life will test your desire. The test is, how badly do you really want this? Mistake number two, they have the wrong environment. Hill was very clear. The people you surround yourself with will either accelerate your success or destroy your chances. That friend who laughs at your dreams, that family member who always reminds you of your failures, you have to be very careful about who has access to your mind and your plans. Mistake number three, they rely on luck instead of planning. A desire without a plan is just a wish. Many people want success, but they have no organized written plan. They are leaving their future to chance, and chance is not a strategy. Mistake number four, fear. Hill identifies 6 basic fears that destroy human potential. The fear of poverty, the fear of criticism, the fear of ill health, the fear of loss of love, the fear of old age, and the fear of death. And he says the most dangerous of these, the one that kills more dreams than any other, is the fear of criticism. You know this fear very well. It is the voice that says, what will people say? What if I fail publicly? What if people laugh at me? And because of that voice, you never start, you never try. You die with your potential locked inside you. Hill says you must develop the courage to ignore criticism and pursue your goals regardless. Because the people who criticize you, where will they be in 10 years? Still in the same place, still criticizing. Don't let their opinion become your prison. When Napoleon Hill finally published Think and Grow Rich in 1937, the world was in the middle of economic depression. People were broke, jobs were scarce, the future looked dark for millions of people, and into that darkness this book arrived like a torch. People read it and discovered that the real wealth the blueprint, the principles were not outside them. They were inside, in their minds, in their thoughts, in their desires and their decisions. And what happened? People who applied these principles, ordinary people, people who started with nothing, began to build businesses, create wealth, change their families, transform their communities. Edwin Barnes, the man who showed up broke with just a burning desire, became one of the most successful businessmen of his generation. And the book itself, over 100 million copies sold worldwide, still relevant, still changing lives, still making millionaires nearly 90 years after it was written. That is the power of principle. Principles don't expire. The law of desire doesn't change because the economy is bad. The law of persistence doesn't stop working because your country has challenges. The law of specialized knowledge doesn't care about your background or your tribe or your level of education. These principles are available to every human being, including you that is watching this video right now, maybe on your phone, maybe eating rice and wondering when your life will change. Your life can change, but it always starts in your mind. Okay, let me bring it all together for you. Here are the 13 timeless principles from Think and Grow Rich, your roadmap to wealth and success. 1. Desire. Have a specific, burning, obsessive desire for what you want. Define it. Write it down. Make it real. 2. Faith. Believe, truly believe that you can and will achieve your desire. Develop this faith through affirmation and visualization. 3. Auto-suggestion. Feed your subconscious mind with positive, goal-oriented statements every single day. What you tell yourself becomes your reality. 4. Size knowledge. Don't try to know everything. Know one thing extremely well. Become the expert. Become the go-to person. 5. Imagination. Use your mind to create. Visualize your success. Dream boldly and specifically. 6. Organized planning. Create a clear written plan. Build your mastermind team. When the plan fails, make a better plan. Never quit. 7. Decision. Make decisions quickly and confidently. Stop procrastinating. Indecision is the enemy of success. 8. Persistence. Keep going when it gets hard. Your breakthrough may be just around the corner. Don't quit 3 feet from gold. 9. The mastermind. Surround yourself with people who elevate you, challenge you, and complement your strength. You cannot build alone. 10. Sex transmutation. Channel your deepest emotional energy and passion into your work and your goals. Let it fuel your creativity and ambition. 11. The subconscious mind. Program it intentionally. Use the quiet moments, morning and night, to feed it with your desires and your belief. 12. The brain. Operate a high emotional frequency through passion, focus, and faith. Attract the ideas and people you need. 13. The sixth sense. Develop your intuition by applying all the other principles consistently. Trust the inner voice that guides you toward your purpose. These 13 principles are not magic. They are not shortcuts. They are a system. And when you work the system works for you, my friend. We have covered a lot today. And I want to end by saying something to you from the bottom of my heart. You did not stumble upon this video by accident. Something brought you here today. Maybe you've been feeling stuck. Maybe you've been feeling like life is not moving the way you want it to. Maybe you've been working hard and wondering when the harvest will come. I want you to hear this. Your time is coming, but you have to do your part. Napoleon Hill spent 20 years researching the most successful people in the world, and he came back with a message for you. The message is this: you have everything you need inside you. the desire, the faith, the imagination, the power to decide and to persist. You have it all. The only question is, will you use it? Will you stop making excuses and start making plans? Will you stop listening to fear and start acting in faith? Will you stop waiting for conditions to be perfect and start moving with what you have right now from where you are? Because that is what Edwin Barnes did. That is what every great person who has ever lived has done. They decided, they persisted, they believed when nobody else did. And if they could do it, so can you. I want you to do one thing for me right now. Drop a comment below this video. Tell me, what is the one lesson from this book that hit you the hardest today? What are you going to start doing differently from this moment? Let's talk, let's build together in the comment section. And if this video added value to your life, please like it right now. Share it with somebody who needs to hear this message. Subscribe to this channel, because every week we are bringing you more of this life-changing content. Hit that notification bell so you never miss a video. Remember, your life will change the moment your mind changes, and your mind changes one idea, one book, one lesson at a time. This was Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, broken down, served hot and delivered with love, just for you. I'll see you in the next video. Keep growing, keep thinking, and don't stop until you get there. God bless you. Take care of yourself. And remember, greatness is not a destination, it is a decision. See you next time.